All right, hi. I did my presentation on Gina Green. Um, this is the final presentation. I added to it for the final. Um, Basically, I'm going to cover these five topics: an introduction to the researcher, photos, and dates active, and articles I found, and summary of the work, and summary of the interview, and why is it important person to the field? Why is it person important to the field? First, I'll say that. She is not. She's active, but only in a board director sense. She's a board director for the Association of Professional Behavior Analysts. That's a photo that you'll see when you go to the website, and uh, um, it's a photo you see when you go to the Association of Professional Behavior Analysts website. So she's not currently actively researching. She was really stopped practicing researching in the early 2000s based off the articles I found. A lot of her research was done in the early 2000s with those humans in the early population, early childhood, younger population, and mostly focused on the effectiveness of certain treatments once we review later, and researching and those treatments later with a group of colleagues. So a lot of her research is attached to other individuals. Um, we're going to go through her findings in later slides. So this is one such slide. So I'm going to review two slides, two books or articles I found. This one is about the cost-benefit analysis of certain treatments, and sort of the theme of her research is that early intervention is very important. Um, but the one of her research studies does a model to determine how much money you save, cost savings, for when you apply early intervention with those on the spectrum, which is a very interesting um, research study. It's a little it's the pattern is not really it's really a unique study. Then you have this one as well. This one it was regarding stimulus control, and to put it very briefly, when stimulus control treatment was applied for those on the spectrum, and again, this was early age, younger population, it was very effective, and many of the many of those on the spectrum were able to have skills similar to those normally developed, or to put it another way, they needed less support compared to the control population. So it's very effective to have early intervention on those on the spectrum, because it's going to end up meaning less support later on, and that's what this research study found. Like I said before, the subject matter was early aged, and uh, it really highlights the importance of early intervention in those on the spectrum, because each study found it was very effective. Yeah, whether that whether that means like um, less support later on in life, or cost savings, like explained before, or in other ways as well. So the interview is interesting. I mostly ask things about if she's ever done research on animals, and sort of the how popular applied behavior health analysis was after she graduated college, and when did it stop becoming very popular. There's been an explosion of applied behavior analysis through the years. I'm wondering how popular it was after she graduated. And then it was the importance of early intervention for those on the spectrum. what is one effective intervention in general for those on the spectrum early on? This is a question that's answered through the research, but I would like to know our opinion on it. And what are some interventions and treatments that every applied behavior analyst should know? I think this is a very practical question. And it's comparing applied behavior analysis to before to now, which is I also think is very important to see how it has evolved through the years. So as for the final slide, Gina Green was particularly very impactful for those who are working on the spectrum because she would measure the success of those interventions, and those interventions were often major successes that the very least showed the effectiveness of early intervention for those younger populations. In such interventions, treatment was delivered to a one-to-one adult child format in the child's homes and other settings. Intense treatment continued for 3 years. By the 4th year, the child was spending most of their time in a regular preschool with minimal one-on-one support. So this is, like I said before, you can really see how the treatment benefited this particular child who was on the spectrum or suspected to be on the spectrum, and how when she entered a regular preschool setting, the classroom there was minimal one-on-one instruction for that individual. The paper then goes on to show more improvements for the child. Largely, these are very successful, and it is assumed that these interventions were used later on. So her impact is very noticeable. As reading the research at Western University tells you one thing: early intervention is extremely effective, whether that you're looking at a cost-benefit analysis or whether you're looking at whether or not the student needs supports later on. And that's shown financially, like I said before. Generally speaking, the advice of early intervention being effective is something to keep in mind as a future behavioral analysis. Let me go here. I'm going to go here as well. Yeah, so that's my presentation. Gina Davis was very important. Still not practicing anymore, but on a board. And when she was practicing, she did a lot of stuff on younger populations, showing how early intervention is both cost saving and effective if you want to go the independence of that those on the spectrum early on. So very good work, and obviously a very smart individual.